This is Granny Maggie from Granny Magic. I'm so excited. The first full moon of 2023 in Cancer occurs tomorrow. And that Cancer energy is really a good way for us to release some things and to set some intentions again for the year ahead. The crab is an amazing little creature, and that's the symbol for Cancer. And the crab moves seamlessly between water and land, skillful and adept in both. So, in some ways, we need to look at that energy and look at our lives. How can we become more skillful and adept at moving between our more interior, emotional, spiritual selves and the material realm in which we live, based in relationships with other people and the everyday things that we need to do to survive and flourish in the world? Well, another symbol that associates itself with Cancer in tarot is the Chariot. And looking at the Chariot, that is not somebody to be trifled with. We see that confidence, that energy, that sense of goals and purpose as the charioteer moves ahead. That's the energy we want to take into this new year. The Chariot card is often referred to as the card of freedom. It's about actively moving forward to the place we belong in this world. We venture out, we take a chance. It's about new beginnings, moving forward, determination and drive. And at the same time, those things are coming forward from our self-knowledge, from listening to our intuition and self-wisdom deep within. There's a balance to this energy. And there's a certain amount of emotional drive, both in the crab, Cancer, and in the Chariot. There's a certain amount of self-nurturance. That's the basis for this confidence and this skill. There's a reason that the energy of the crab is often associated with motherhood, because it really is about using emotions to nurture growth and development. So as we move forward, one question to ask ourselves is, what is standing in the way of the things we really want for ourselves this year? The things we're actively being called to sometimes. It can be so painful. We know where we're called. We know where we're supposed to be heading towards. So we wonder, what's blocking me? What's holding that back? Why does it seem so difficult to progress on my path? And a lot of times when we look at that, we have to look at the blocks that we ourselves are putting up. It's easy to blame retrograde. It's easy to blame other people. Maybe I'm cursed, whatever it is. But the truth is, most people I work with are their own blocks. And since this full moon really deals openly with emotions so much, it's time to look at our emotions around what it is we want to head towards. A lot of times we get into a comfort zone. We're happy there. Things are kind of easy there. We have problems, but we work them out because we know those problems and we know our way around them. And so we get ourselves in this little rut, and it's comfortable, and we get deeper and deeper and deeper, and it becomes more and more difficult to move forward from that spot. Because to move forward, we have to look at the emotions we have, how far we might be from that goal moving forward. Are we sad? Are we excited? What are our feelings about our goals? Do we feel a certain amount of discomfort because we're going to be learning and trying some new things? Are we afraid of disappointing ourselves or others? There's so many challenges that our emotions put up that get in our way of skillfully managing our way along this path to the goal we're called to. So one of the things that we want to talk about is how our success is interrelated to these emotions. We're holistic beings. We have the spiritual and the emotional, but they have a huge impact on the way our skills, our training, how we manage in the day-to-day mundane world. This full moon is a time to dig deep, to be brave, and to look at the feelings we have and how far we are from the goals we would like to achieve. And it's a time to intentionally release some of those feelings, some of those habits that make us comfortable, some of the ways we have to evade and work around the challenges in our lives. The charioteer doesn't evade. He's full steam ahead. It's time for us to look at resolution, or sometimes letting go of the things that stand in our way. When I was preparing for this video, I dumped over 2 open boxes of tarot cards. Big mess on the floor. And I could have said, well, that's my sign for today, that I'm not being called to do this video, which is always a new challenge for me. I'm new to YouTube. But at the same time, what it really was a sign of is, wow, how often I don't put things away properly, how often I don't organize my tools. And I just think of it as a creative, energetic mess, and laugh it off. That's who I am. Well, I took those minutes and I said, you know what? Right now, all the tarot cards on these shelves, sorted into boxes, lids on. I'm moving ahead. And it's just those kinds of little things that can impede you. So we're looking at using the energy of this moon to transform ourselves, to transform our perspective, to get closure on some of the pain from the past, doing some healing, some self-nurturing, which is different than keeping ourselves in a comfortable rut, because self-nurturing is a way of healing, caring, and energizing ourselves for what lays ahead. We're redefining, in a sense, our habits and who we are. And we are not underestimating our spiritual connection and our spiritual power. We're not going to underestimate our calling for this year. Instead, we're going to choose to move ahead. Yes, we have planets in retrograde. Mercury retrograde always seems to knock people for a loop. But you know what? Retrogrades come every year. They cycle regularly, just like the moon cycles. We learn to work with the lunar cycles to our benefit. So we ask ourselves, what's Mercury retrograde telling us? Well, in my case, I got a clear message. I need to work on some of my online banking in order to seamlessly pay the bills I need to do without a lot of extra work and hassle. I've been putting off transferring some things, and today my other account sort of went belly up online. My bill pay's gone. So there are messages, and we learn from those. So please look at this retrograde as a way of learning how to communicate in various modalities, to not always rely on our electronics, to find new ways to better communicate and understand other people's way of responding to you as clues as to how you can change your communication to make it clearer. So as we move ahead into this new moon energy, this full moon energy, it's the moon for the new year, first full moon for the new year. Really intentionally look at the gap, no matter how painful, between where you are now and where you would like to be or where you feel called to. Look at your habits. Look at the emotions around that gap. And get to work releasing. Release, release, release. Transform. Take control of. Connect to spirit. That will empower you and rejuvenate you to move ahead. So many blessings to all of you. I'm so excited. I really think this is going to be a transformative year for myself and from the card readings I've been doing for many, many other people. You are the charioteer. You are in charge of your life. You have the spiritual empowerment to transform, to alchemize the things that are not serving you. Become that little crab who's so adept on the rocks and in the sea. And if something gets in his way, he has got his little pinchers. Because sometimes the blocks are real. So this is Granny Maggie wishing you all a wonderful full moon in Cancer.